You're listening to The Real Short Box, a comic book podcast made for geeks by geeks.
Hello, everyone in podcast land. Welcome to The Real Short Box. And with my co-hosts and co-conspirators, Big Blue Don McKinney, Ladies Love, Big Sal Hernandez, and of course, the second most educated man in all of the United States of academia, Professor Chris Turner. And of course, I am the Grand Master of the Jedi and Vulcan Arts, Brother Kevin. We're going to discuss a very interesting topic that Mr. Big Sal brought up to our attention. TV shows that need to get some love and attention. Underrated TV shows that you probably have not watched.
Yeah, you may not have heard of them, or you might want to check them out. Even if you did hear of them, you know, we're telling you now that they're good.
Yeah, they're so good. Yeah. You need to check these out.
Yeah, exactly. So we're each going to take a show, and we're going to talk about it briefly. And this was Sal's brainchild, actually. So we're going to let Sal take the helm on this one. He's going to take the lead and show us how it's done. So Sal, what series are you chomping at the bit to talk about, and why?
Well, it's a series that I got hooked right away once I knew who wrote it and came up with the story. And it's basically written by Bruce Lee. And the show is called Warrior. Now, imagine you're back in San Francisco, like late 1800s, you know?
Yes.
You know, still a lot of problems, you know, there's the Irish.
Chinese Railroad.
Yes, all that.
Got it.
So it takes place about this guy. He arrives there, and the first thing that happens is that, you know, he's getting picked on by 3 Irish cops. And he doesn't let himself get punked. Basically, he beats up these guys because he has what is known as the martial arts form of Kung Fu. So he ends up getting seen beating up cops, and they take him to a Chinese mafia family called the what was they called, Chris? The Chinese family that he goes in with?
Man, I don't remember bad at names.
No, that's Japanese.
That's Japanese.
Chinese, yeah.
Triads would be Chinese.
Yeah.
Close
well,
enough.
they're kind of like, it's kind of triad-y, but it's the Yawen. I think that's what they're called. Something like that. And basically, what he's doing is he's trying to find his sister that came to America on his behalf, and he feels bad about it. So he's in this journey into a new world where, you know, the Chinese are looked down upon. And he's fighting in almost every episode, fighting cops, fighting rival mafia members, fighting drunken Irishmen. Like, you name it, it's in there. So
why do they have to be drunk, the Irishmen? Let me ask you that, Sal.
Because they walk out of in the show. Yeah. In the show, they're walking out of a bar.
So they're naturally drunk because they're walking out. We see, and then why are they Irishmen? Why does it have to be Irish that are walking out of the bar?
Why can't
this is the type of racist bullshit that I hate in television. They do it all the time.
Why can't they be Dutch?
Did they have their hands full of cabbage and goddamn corned beef too, Sal, when they came out of the bar?
No.
Were they talking? Were they going, oh, shit, it's a taties. No. You need some taties. Let's go get our taties now. We got good in South, and now we need the taties. Huh?
They're upset because
racist sons of bitches.
Dude, there's a lot of racism in that show, trust me. And
apparently, poor Irishmen.
The Irishmen's, they're unhappy because they're not getting work because, you know, the Chinese are working for less money, you know, because they're just trying to survive.
Yeah.
So the Irishmen, they believe, like, you know what, we have better engineering, we're stronger, we're bigger, we're taller, we deserve more pay, but they don't want to work what they're working, and so they blame the Chinese that why are you working for that money and not letting them pay me more money that we deserve. So it gets
that's so stupid. Why are you working and I'm not, you piece of shit?
I'm telling you, that is the logic in that show. But it gets crazier in the show because you end up finding out that the two families are starting a war for an American politician to overthrow a mayor, to just to seize control and try to get rid of some of the Asian people.
Conspiracy, I like it.
Yeah, so there's conspiracy, there's fighting, there's killing,
prostitutes.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
harlots. They have harlots,
bro. They do. So you see a lot in Game of Thrones. You see a lot of titties and stuff and like that. This is like Game of Thrones, but with kung fu. You see everything, and it's the show has great story, great characters.
Every time somebody says you've seen everything, I imagine Patrick Stewart saying it.
You've seen everything.
It's too late because I've seen everything. It's like it's his the bit he did from Extras with Ricky Gervais. I can't get that out of my head now when anybody ever says that.
But there's a lot of elements that are in the show that makes you see how unique it is. Like when Chris and me were talking about, like when the Chinese people are talking to each other, they have proper English skills and no accent. They actually sound all like American voices. But when you see it from like an outer like an outer race person, like a Irishman, seeing them talk, they're talking in Chinese. And then when they talk in English to an Irishman, they have like a heavy accent, like, oh no, Dr. Jones, like kind of like that.
Yeah. Oh, I remember there was this guy. It was like a little. It's terrible, by the way, but it was like a little. I want to say a TikTok, and it's this Asian guy, and he's like, every time I go to order Chinese food, he calls up and he's calling and he's like, hello, I would like the and he's got like an English accent to him, and he's I'd like the chicken fried pork, and I would like some dumplings, and yes, I'll also take the steamed white rice, thank you. And then like they're like, okay, and then he like later he has it on his phone, he plays it back or something, and it goes me speak a Chinese. It's like
wow,
the worst thing ever. It's so freaking, but it's coming from a Chinese guy, so it's him making fun of himself, which is funny. But I get it, like from different perspectives. I like that idea from different perspectives. They'll either have a thick accent, or they'll be speaking in the Chinese language, or it'll be the Irishman from their viewpoint, and they'll be talking, and they're probably again they're take the booze, the whiskey, yeah, you racist piece of shit.
A lot of it, you took our jobs.
Yeah,
took our jobs.
They took our job. But there's actually this Irish dude. I think you would love his character, Donnie.
Okay.
Because as much as like he sees like a lot of like wrongdoing, he tries to like bring the Irish people up in the show.
Are you talking about the cop or the gangster?
No, the guy, the bar owner.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the bar owner.
The gangster. Gangster.
He's a bar owner, and like he tries to help Irishmen, find jobs, and if they do him dirty, he makes them have a bare knuckle fight in the back of his bar. He's like, "Oh, you smeared my good name. Now you know now you know what's gonna happen." And he fights two dudes in the back of his bar, bare knuckle style.
Nice.
Because he got these guys a job, and then they ended up beating up an Asian dude, to near death. And the guy that's like, dude, you told me that these guys were not going to be a problem. Like, I'm losing money now. I'm not going to pay you what I owe you for protection or whatnot. Like, I'm not going to, help you at all. So he hates that his good name has been smeared. And he gets those two Irish dude that literally beat up an innocent Asian man. and has a bare knuckle fight in the back of his bar.
So it's like Swearingen kind of from Deadwood, which is another great show, by the way. If you haven't seen, highly recommend that. HBO.
Same time period.
Okay, so boil down the essence of this. So it's a really good show, and you should watch it. Correct?
Yes, very much.
All right, so we got to move on. We're going to move on. Chris, what do you have for us?
I have a show on FX. Little known show. Just finished its second season. I think it's one of the most intense TV shows you can find on TV. It is called The Bear. For anyone who hasn't seen or heard of it, it is about a man who comes back after being a world-trained chef. Comes back to work at his brother's steak house, like steak sandwich house.
Chop steak.
Chop steak house. After his brother dies, he's like left the restaurant. And so he's trying to struggle with being a world-renowned chef, world-trained chef, with won accolades and stuff, and then he brings in this other girl who is a chef, and she's really good, and they kind of struggle a bit. And it's the first season, or even the second season, the show is just nonstop intensity. And it's just like, it just builds and builds and builds. And the acting is phenomenal. The lead is Jeremy Allen White from Shameless. Anyone who's seen him?
He played Lip
in Shameless. Probably one of my favorite characters in the show. And Ayo Edebiri, I think it's how you say it. She's been in a bunch of stuff this year. And last year, The Bear really helped her break out. Other people you might recognize, Oliver Platt.
Oh, yes, he's so good. I love Oliver Platt.
What's his name who played Punisher, plays the brother?
Oh, yeah, and the Punisher, yeah. Yep, yeah. He was, he was Microchip, right? Wasn't he Microchip? In the Punisher series?
No, he was the Punisher.
Oh, you're talking about the other brother. I'm sorry. Or Berthanol.
They were both in Punisher. That's crazy. That's weird.
I think, but maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Sometimes I drink a lot.
And anybody who has seen, if anyone's seen the DoorDash commercial, I want to make the sandwich now, but I got to get the meat first or whatever like that. It's a guy, he's kind of chubby, has a beard, mustache.
Yeah.
He's in that show too. He's a great character. He plays like this handyman type character. He never fix anything.
That's where I saw him. Yeah. Okay.
The whole cast is great. Acting is great. Character development in the show is really good. Like all the characters they introduce get character development and moments and character growth. And it's just so, and man, if you don't like intense shows, still watch it, because it's like a masterclass on how to make an amazing show. A lot of it is like real time. They do a lot of real time scenes. And that's what kind of makes it so intense. It just builds and builds and builds. And if everyone's worked in a kitchen, you know how intense it can get in there. So it kind of takes that tone in there. It's so freaking good. And I don't know how there's still people who don't know about this show. It is, in my opinion, one of the best shows on TV right now. Acting and everything is fantastic. Casting, perfect casting, great writing. Please go check it out.
Where can we find it?
On FX and Hulu.
Okay.
Yeah. It's FX and Hulu. Definitely. I watch it on Hulu because it's easier that way. You can catch it easier anyway. Okay, so I have one really quickly that I'm going to go over. It is a little known series. Well, it's actually pretty well known now, I would say. Has anybody ever heard of The Boys? Anybody ever hear of that series?
Oh, yeah.
The Boys? Okay.
Wasn't it about these 4 kids who like find a dead body and they like walk down the train tracks and stuff?
No, like Stand By Me.
No, that's Stand By Me. Yeah, that's Stand By Me. I'm talking about the spin-off series from The Boys, which is Gen V. Gen V is actually pretty surprising. I was surprised at how good it was. It's about some young adult superheroes, and they're tested in an unconventional series of battle royale challenges at the Godolkin University School of Crime Fighting. And it was crime fighting, founded by Thomas Godolkin, and it's run by Vought International. And Vought is the company that created V, which is the drug that is used to create the superpowered, the soups, so to speak. And the premise of Gen V is that as babies, the parents of these kids injected them with this unconventional drug, basically to turn them into a superhero later in life. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. The V doesn't mix well with them or whatever. And sometimes it turns like really horribly wrong. And sometimes it's great, just depending on the powers. This girl, by chance, happens to have blood powers, and it comes out when she has her first period. And a whole massacre ensues of her unknowing how to control her blood, because she can control. She's like a blood bender from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
How they were trying to figure out how to make like there's water benders and then there's blood benders. That's her. That's her power. She's a blood bender.
Well, to play devil's advocate, blood bender is a water bender to just figure out how to bend the water in blood. So
yes,
exactly. I get your point.
Yeah. So she's using her powers in. She gets mysteriously accepted into this school, and she's not sure why, because she's a halfway kid and she's going to like these halfway schools and things like that. But she has powers, and she's got a good. She gets good grades, things like that. So they throw her into this school, this Godolkin school, and which sounds like a move in Street Fighter. Godolkin, Godolkin, you know. Like, but anyway. It's great. So she aligns herself, like her roommate's this girl that can turn really small. Like all she has to do is just throw up and she can become very small. So she continuously makes herself vomit to become tiny and then fight a hamster on YouTube for views. Stuff like that.
Wow.
The lead character is like the one that everybody aspires to be is Golden Boy, of course, and he would have the name Golden Boy. Well, Golden Boy, things don't go so well for Golden Boy. And then things start to go really south for all the other kids. And you get this mix of teenage angst with this big mystery and this Vought criminal enterprise, that Vaught's not a good company. They're not there for good means, for good intentions. They are there to produce content. They are there to produce agendas. They are there to control the government, actually. And these kids are finding that out slowly but surely, and actually a lot faster than the guys and the boys did, to be honest. And it makes for a fast-paced, fun, entertaining, and oftentimes hilarious series filled with surprise action and some shocking moments. So if you get a chance, it's on Amazon Prime. It's called Gen V. Highly recommend it. The series just wrapped up here last week or the week before, actually. So it's been like 2-3 weeks, maybe 4, something like that.
It was last week.
But it's been a couple weeks, I think, for sure. So if I recall, but anyway, I just think it's worth checking out. So if you get a chance, check out Gen V on Amazon. And Kevin, what's yours?
Real quick as well. A show that's not as well known, but a little bit known from the DC TV shows, Titans. Not the greatest show, but it's pretty good. Like the first 3 seasons, the last one that just finished a few months ago. Something left to that could have been a little bit better, shall we say. But it's pretty cool to see a lot of these characters on TV that you grew up with reading the comics or watching in cartoons. So they have kind of like the older Titans, or kind of like young adults in their early 20s, like Robin, or in this case, becomes Nightwing. Yeah, Starfire, which is kind of cool to see Starfire in a live action setting. It was pretty cool. They have Hawk and Dove, Wonder Girl. And then throughout the seasons, you actually introduce 2 other Robins. You see Jason Todd and Tim Drake get introduced as well during the series. But the 2 most interesting characters that they do put a good amount of focus on in the series is the Teenage Raven and Teenage Beast Boy and their relationship and all their trials and tribulations. And of course, the villain Trigon brought into the mix as well. And they do a good job. The guy who was the villain in Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, he plays Deathstroke in the series, and he does a pretty good job.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. That guy's been around for a long time.
Yeah, Isai Morales, I think that's
Yeah. And then also there's the guy that he's from Jack Reacher from the Amazon, another Amazon series, the Amazon Prime Jack Reacher series. He plays Hawk with Hawk and Dove. Yeah, and then Dove is the girl from Friday Night Lights, from the TV series Friday Night Lights. So it's got a good cast. It's got a solid cast of characters for sure.
Yeah, one role they miscast, although he's a really good actor, and I know Mr. Turner would probably agree with this, from Game of Thrones, the guy who played Jorah Mormont, Ian Glenn. For some strange reason, they cast him as Bruce Wayne, Batman. It was weird. Like, this doesn't make sense. Like, I just don't see it. I don't see it. It was a complete mismatch, especially the fact with his accent too. It's just like, this isn't Bruce Wayne. I'm sorry. And I think they were trying to focus more on the Bruce Wayne character, more on his Batman, because you never see him as Batman. You see him only as Bruce Wayne, but it just didn't work out too well. And then what's her name? Frankie Portente, who was like in the first Bourne movie. Interestingly enough, she plays Mother. Oh my gosh, what's her name? Mother Mayhem, like in the last season.
Oh, okay. Nice. I watched the first season. I didn't go back to it. I would also venture to recommend Doom Patrol if you get a chance to watch that.
They go together because there is like a crossover episode, so they do kind of go together.
Yeah. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's pretty fantastic. So Doom Patrol. I would say it's more for the quirky viewer that likes the eccentric type characters and stuff. Like Titans is more for the straight up action fan that likes their superheroes hardcore. And Doom Patrol is for those that like their superheroes a little messed up. Like they don't know what they're doing and they often fuck it up. And that's what Doom Patrol is about. So I would recommend that too. But Titans is a solid show for sure.
And Doom Patrol, we can't forget, does have a brandly new christened Oscar winner.
That's true. Yeah, Brendan Fraser's in it. He plays Robot Man. And he's fantastic at it. He does the voice.
What?
He doesn't
and
dress
a Shakespearean actor.
Yeah. Mr. Bond.
Timothy Dalton. Come on, one of the best Bonds. Timothy Dalton.
Mm-hmm.
I think he also played a doctor too on Doctor Who.
Did he really?
For a one-off episode, yeah.
No shit.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, you know what? I think I remember that. I think I do remember that. He was like
everyone was talking about how he was spitting on camera and stuff.
Yeah. Yep. That makes sense. Anyway, okay, guys. Well, that's a little, just a little taste of what we have on our live shows when we do our live shows through Rumble Pop, and also further episodes that we probably are going to be putting out here on the Real Short Box. So please feel free to like and subscribe if you can. Leave a comment. You can reach out to us. You can follow us on a ton of audio podcast platforms: Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Google, you name it, we are on there. So find us, let us know what you think. If you have recommendations, you can always reach out to us. And if we like the recommendation, we'll do the podcast about it. And we maybe even give you a shout out for it. We will definitely give you a shout. I'm going to be honest. We'll give you a shout out for it.
We might even pay you. We might even pay you.
No, we're not paying anybody.
Oh.
I don't even get paid. What are you talking about? Who has money? What is this money? Money's a construct.
Chris gets paid.
What?
I do.
Chris.
Sure you got the right address? Because I've never gotten a paycheck.
Son of a bitch. Who else is getting paid? Sal, did you get paid?
What? In peanut? No.
I think he said penis.
No, I said peanuts.
Oh, okay. I think he got paid in other ways.
He had his mouth full too at the time. Waka waka. All right. Okay, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. And if we don't see you out and about anytime soon, perhaps we'll see you
at the delightful, dramatic, and sometimes edgy Comic Book Shop.
This has been The Real Short Box. We'll see you at the comic shop. Thanks for listening.